I've been waiting to do this for so long, and I'm finally, fingers crossed, ticking it off today. Thanks for joining me for another video. In today's video, I'm taking a bucket list flight. I'll be flying on a tiny Britten-Norman Islander, a twin-engine turboprop aircraft down to Britain's most remote island, Fair Isle. Now, there have been a few videos made on trips to the Scottish Islands this year, and you might be questioning, is Fair Isle really the most remote?
Fly to the most remote island in the UK.
In fact, it's the remotest inhabited place in all of the UK.
We're on the flight to Foula.
Now, the Shetland island of Foula is pretty remote. It's about 21 kilometres from the nearest landfall, but Fair Isle is even more remote than that, clocking in at 37 kilometres remote from Shetland and over 50 kilometres remote from Orkney. Join me for a wonderful flight down to this unique part of the United Kingdom, the end of Britain. I'm spending a whole day on the island flying there and back and finding out just what there is to do on Britain's most remote inhabited island. Our flight will take just 22 minutes to cover the 47 miles down to Fair Isle today. So today's flight is not actually going from Shetland's main airport, which is Stonybreck, way down in the south of Shetland, but actually an airport really close to LWK, which opened in the 1970s. It's called Tingwall, and it is basically the inter-island hub for the Shetland region. And it's just a 5-minute drive from my hotel. I've already driven past this airport in my time here in Shetland, and boy is it small. There are only 2 flights a day. There's one to Fair Isle, which I'll be taking, and there's another one to another island called Foula. This looks like it. All right. Booking this flight was one of the more bizarre experiences I've had. So you don't actually pay when you ring up and book, and yes, you do have to call up and book. It's all really, really informal. The day return fare of £112.75 is paid on entry to the terminal at this little hatch here. Inside, this single-room airport is pretty tiny. There is just one check-in podium, and yes, for weight and balance, both you and your bags will need to be weighed. So the situation at the moment is that although the weather is a bit windy here, it's actually rather pleasant, but the cloud base at Fair Isle is at about 500 feet at the moment, which is not quite good enough for a landing. The runway is actually right on top of a plateau on the island, so we're just hoping that cloud blows away or the temperature rises in Fair Isle, and yeah, we'll be on our way. Hopefully only a 30 to 40 minute delay, but I'm so looking forward to getting to Fair Isle. I've been waiting to do this for so long, and I'm finally, fingers crossed, ticking it off today. Our aircraft today is a Britten-Norman Islander built in 2006, one of 2 operated by Directflight with this attractive Shetland flag livery. The flights are made under contract from the Shetland Islands Council, which maintains connections between the islands here. Yep.
Here, yes, thank you. And then once you're in there, flick the seat back.
Yep.
And you join that.
Thank you. Sorry. Oh, goodness me. Gosh, this is small, eh? Switch this off. Today's video is sponsored by Surfshark VPN, an award-winning virtual private network. Now, VPNs have a whole load of great uses, from improving your online security to leveraging lower prices online. And my subscribers know the deal by now. Go to surfshark.com/wingin for 4 extra months for free of this amazing tool. It's that time of year and Surfshark VPN comes in super useful because it's Black Friday and Cyber Monday coming up, and I'm looking at browsing from overseas. It's so frustrating to find sometimes my favorite sites are blocked because I'm trying to access it from outside the UK. I've got money to spend, and in this example, Currys just won't let me because I'm in Asia. But that's all solved with a quick flick of the switch of Surfshark VPN. I go and put my location as the home country, and hey presto, the site is unblocked and I can browse normally just as I would back home. That's because the VPN spoofs my device's location to wherever is convenient for me, and you're sure to find somewhere convenient with Surfshark. There are over 3,000 servers in over 100 countries worldwide. It's an incredible tool, a real Swiss Army knife, and it's available to you, my subscribers. Go to surfshark.com/wingin for 4 extra months of Surfshark.
If anything exciting happens with the battery, don't worry about telling me. Just get rid of it.
This is real flying. It will take us a little over 20 minutes to reach Fair Isle, and we cruise at 700 feet. The legroom here is pretty tight, but luckily I snagged the seat behind the co-pilots, which remained empty and pulled forward a bit. The aircraft also includes a reading lamp and even an air vent, and there are also headphone sockets if passengers are ever connected to the cockpit communications, maybe for scenic charters? Let me know what you think they're for. The views of this remote part of the UK are absolutely stunning. This is my first time in Shetland, and it's hard to believe I'm in the same country as London. The culture here has a huge Nordic influence, and we're currently much closer to Oslo and the Faroe Islands than we are to London. And while we're here, and if you're enjoying the video, don't forget to drop a like, leave me a comment in the comment section below, and subscribe. You'll join a community of hundreds of thousands of other trip report enthusiasts just like you. Fair Isle looms into view, and I'm surprised to see a cruise ship moored in the North Harbour. I was expecting the island to be pretty quiet today, and to have the place mostly to myself. We approach the airstrip from the southwest, and I do love the forward views you get in tiny turboprop aircraft like these. As is standard for all departures and arrivals here, the island's fire truck has arrived, and not just in case of an incident. The fire officers also unload the bags here. Also waiting are a group of passengers waiting to return to Tingwall. It's a bit like a bus queue, I suppose, and very informal. Fair Isle Airport manages to be even smaller than Tingwall. The building isn't even open as it's a pleasant enough day. By the way, the whole island, which is home to just 60 people, is a National Trust for Scotland site, and it pays to read the signs. Unexpectedly, there's actually something going on for visitors today, thanks to the cruise ship. A lot of people come to Fair Isle for birdwatching. There's an Atlantic puffin colony here, but the island is full of sheep too, which seem to have the freedom of the place. I'm taking a walk down south to the island's only town, or village settlement, Stonybreck, where apparently the community hall is open, which I wasn't expecting. It's just under a mile's walk to the village from the airport. Well, it's not what I expected to be doing, but I'll take it. Oh, I need that. As well as tea and cake, there's also some more expensive merchandise for sale, including some beautiful Fair Isle sweaters. I settled instead on this adorable little postcard for my niece. The George Waterston Museum usually opens for a few hours, 3 days a week in summer, and is housed in this charming old schoolhouse. It's the definitive museum of the island, charting the life and times of people who have lived on this rugged outpost. My favourite exhibit was definitely this stretcher made for lighthouse and cliff rescues. This is one of 2 churches here on the island, the Fair Isle Methodist Chapel. It's the older of the 2, dating from 1886. Note the lovely tapestry by the communion table when we go in, and I love this red and blue colour scheme. What a lovely little chapel, and I can't think there are many churches this small with a more perfect view from the window. Tell you what, it's absolutely beautiful here, and this has to be one of my favourite day trips I've ever done. You know, I was a little bit cynical about the cruise passengers coming in earlier, but I've got to say a lot of the things, including the museum, are actually open today because of the cruise passengers. That community hall that I was at earlier, that was also open for the cruise passengers, and there's been a lot more to do here than I was anticipating. However, if you really want some solitude on Fair Isle, you can definitely get it, and I think I know where to find it. I'm off to have my lunch. Whenever I have a day out, I can't help but enter any cemetery which has Commonwealth war graves inside. This small cemetery is on the south of the island. It contains a small war memorial and a couple of official war graves of service people who never made it home alive. As you can hear, the grass is being mowed, and it is a fantastically well-maintained little cemetery. Hello. Well, there's definitely worse places to eat your lunch. Let's have a look and see what I got from the Co-op this morning, eh? This might just have been Britain's most remote meal deal that day, but let me know what you think of my choices. It's such a privilege to be able to come all the way up here. I've flown over 1 million miles, but the 47 I flew to Fair Isle this morning are some of the most rewarding in my logbook. On my way back, a quick look at the wreckage of a Heinkel German bomber aircraft which was downed here in World War II. The pilot, Heinz Thürz, returned over 40 years later to visit the island as a friend. And that's Fair Isle ticked off. Yes, that is the most remote inhabited island in the UK, except no imitations. And what a place it was. This is my favourite solo day trip I've ever done, and I absolutely recommend Shetland as a place to explore. You do need to call to book the tickets. There is an email address too, but phoning is just much quicker and immediate in my view. And at over £100, it's not the cheapest day trip in the country. But how many people can say they've been to Fair Isle? Thanks to you, the viewer, so much for watching the video, and I hope you enjoyed watching it as much as I enjoyed making it. And thanks too to Surfshark, an award-winning VPN, for sponsoring today's video. Go to surfshark.com/wingin for 4 extra months of Surfshark. Cheers, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.